The storm hit Outpost Theta 7 like a hammer from the void itself. Marcus Chen hunched over his workbench in the maintenance bay, trying to ignore the howling winds that threatened to tear the prefab structure apart. The colony had been established on Dracon Prime for only 6 months, and already the planet seemed determined to kill them all. His communicator crackled. "Chen, we need the atmospheric processors back online in 2 hours or we're all breathing recycled farts for a week." "Working on it, Commander," Marcus muttered, not looking up from the tangle of wiring before him. The banging started 20 minutes later. At first, Marcus thought it was just debris hitting the bay doors, but the rhythm was too deliberate, too desperate. Against his better judgment, he grabbed his thermal coat and cracked the door open. The wind nearly ripped it from his hands. Through the swirling snow and ice, 2 pale shapes huddled against the entrance. Marcus squinted. They looked like oversized lizards, each about the size of a large dog, with translucent white scales that seemed to glow faintly in the storm's fury. Their wings, actual wings, were wrapped tight around their bodies, and their reptilian eyes held an intelligence that made Marcus's breath catch. "What the hell?" he whispered. The creatures chirped, a sound that somehow cut through the storm's roar. One of them collapsed, its breathing shallow. Every regulation, every protocol screamed at Marcus to shut the door. Unknown xenofauna, potentially dangerous, possibly diseased. But Marcus had grown up fixing broken things, and these creatures were undeniably broken by the cold. "Screw it," he said, and dragged them both inside. The warmth of the bay seemed to revive them slightly. Up close, Marcus could see they were juveniles, maybe even infants. Their scales were pure albino white, and their eyes were a striking crystalline blue. As he set up heat lamps around them, they huddled together, making soft trilling sounds. "Computer, scan these life forms," Marcus ordered. The bay's AI hummed. "Species identified, Dracon primus, colloquially known as star dragons. Status, critically endangered. Native to Dracon Prime. Warning, these specimens are royal bloodline markers. Extreme value to indigenous population." Marcus's eyes widened. "Royal bloodline? There's an indigenous population?" "Affirmative. The Draconian Ascendancy maintains territory in the southern hemisphere. First contact protocols were deemed unnecessary as they rarely interact with off-worlders. The baby dragons, because that's what they were, actual dragons, began to warm up. One of them crawled closer to Marcus, sniffing his hand. When he didn't pull away, it pressed its snout against his palm. The gesture was unmistakably affectionate. "You two are going to get me in so much trouble," Marcus said. But he was already pulling out emergency rations and trying to figure out what baby dragons ate. 3 hours later, the storm had passed and Marcus had 2 well-fed, sleeping dragons in his workshop. He'd also managed to fix the atmospheric processors, which was good because the commander's next message would have been significantly less friendly. The real trouble arrived at dawn. A ship, unlike anything in the human fleet, descended on Outpost Theta 7. It was organic in design, all flowing curves and crystalline structures. The commander was on the comm immediately, panic barely concealed in his voice. "Chen, we have a situation. Something about... Did you take in 2 baby creatures during the storm?" Marcus looked at the sleeping dragons. "Define take in. Get to the landing pad. Now." The beings that emerged from the ship were magnificent. They stood 8 feet tall in their bipedal form, covered in iridescent scales that shifted through every color imaginable. Their eyes held the weight of centuries and power radiated from them like heat from a star. The lead Draconian locked eyes with Marcus. "Human, you sheltered our young." It wasn't a question. Marcus straightened his spine. "They were dying in the storm. What was I supposed to do?" The Draconians exchanged glances. Their leader stepped forward. "Our species has a saying. Those who protect our young when they are vulnerable earn a debt that cannot be measured in material wealth. You risked contamination, punishment from your superiors, and possible harm to yourself. For what? Creatures you did not know. They needed help," Marcus said simply. The Draconian leader made a sound that might have been a laugh. "This is why we were wrong about your kind. The galaxy told us humans were reckless, dangerous, unpredictable. They did not mention you were also compassionate beyond reason." He gestured, and 2 Draconians brought forth a small chest. "The twins you saved are the last of the royal bloodline. With them dies our species' connection to the ancient ways. You have saved not just 2 lives, but the future of our entire civilization." The chest opened, revealing a crystal that pulsed with inner light. "This is a bond crystal. It will link you to our people forever. You will be able to call on us and we on you. Your colony will have our protection, our technology, and our friendship." The leader smiled, revealing rows of sharp teeth. "And those two troublemakers you saved? They have already chosen you as their bondmate. Congratulations, Marcus Chen. You are now the first human dragon lord." Marcus looked at the sleeping babies, then at the assembled draconians, then at his commander's shocked face on the view screen. "Does this mean I still have to fix the atmospheric processors?" The draconian leader laughed, a sound like thunder and music combined. "We will send engineers. You, my friend, have more important work ahead." As the twin dragons woke and bounded toward Marcus, chirping happily, he realized his life had just gotten infinitely more complicated. But watching them play around his feet, their scales catching the morning light like fresh snow, he couldn't bring himself to regret a single moment. Sometimes, he thought, being human meant doing the right thing even when it made no sense. And sometimes the galaxy rewarded that kind of crazy. The storm had passed, but Marcus Chen's adventure was just beginning.